God created man, man created evil. Hate is a learned experience, and no group of people has a monopoly on good or bad, because we all belong to one race, the human race. My first encounter with hate was when I was about 7 years of age. I thought the kids in school were my friends, but our friendship came to a close as they learned to hate. One Sunday I was playing outside a churchyard. As people began to exit their morning service, a boy a few years older approached me. He was dressed in his best clothing and was wearing a big smile. I thought he would say hello. He did not. He recognized me, and knowing I was Jewish, he shouted dirty epithet for Jew and pointed at me with a slim, accusing finger. I looked around. He must be talking to someone else, I thought, but I was the only one in front of him. He approached me, and I tensed. I was wearing a fashionable jacket with bright, beautiful buttons that gleamed in the morning sun. The boy reached for the top button. He wrapped his finger around it and yanked, tearing the fabric and freeing the button. He tossed it on a dusty street, the smile still painted across his face. I was in shock, as if I had just broken a bone. He went after the next button, and I couldn't move. I was frozen with a combination of fear and surprise. He tore off each of the buttons and threw them to the ground. The boy laughed and turned to his parents who were nearby. I waited for them to berate their son, but I discovered his smile was inherited. His parents grinned, took his hand, and turned their backs and walked away. For me, the Holocaust began September 8, 1939. The first year, my brother died of malnutrition and disease in the Pabianice ghetto. My mother died shortly afterward of a broken heart. The Pabianice ghetto was liquidated on May 16, 1942, and we were divided into two groups, A and B. The A group were workers who became slave laborers, and the B group were the useless eaters, the young, old, and the sick. People in Group B all died the same day at the Chalno extermination camp. I was in Group A. My father, two sisters, and I were transferred to the Lodz ghetto. When the Lodz ghetto was liquidated in the summer of 1944, my father and I and the two sisters were sent to Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. My younger sister, who was 11 and a half years of age, died in the gas chamber. My older sister was murdered at the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. My father and I were sent to the Kaufering concentration camp to perform slave labor. My father died at Kaufering. I was sent to Dachau. At liberation, I was 16, and as I was checked into the hospital, I weighed 65 pounds. I alone survived my immediate family. I am one of 5. That includes my extended family who survived. It's difficult even for me to comprehend how I survived. I don't blame people if they don't believe it. It's beyond comprehension. I tell my story to children because they are the future, and I tell my story to open people's eyes to what hate can do when it turns to evil. Not all bullies grow up to be evil hate-mongers, but all hate-mongers are bullies. When the good people don't speak out, hate breeds unchecked. All I can do is take metaphoric revenge. My family is my revenge. The generations that Hitler and the Nazis couldn't kill. Speaking is my revenge. These words here are my revenge.